Hey there, everybody. My name's Dave, and I'm an emotional worth coach. I help people with health-related emotional trauma rediscover and redefine their self-worth, regardless of their current circumstances. We like to keep things accessible here, so here's a brief audio description of what's going on in this video in case anyone has sight difficulties. As I said, my name's Dave. I'm a white 39-year-old male. My long purple hair is tied back, and the sides of my head are shaved. I'm wearing a white V-neck t-shirt and have a goatee style beard. In the background, we've got my office nook, which includes a monitor, a chair, a A1 flip pad, and a white message board. Please forgive me if I'm not looking directly at the camera that you're watching off. I'm multi-streaming in multiple places and obviously cannot keep my eyes on all cameras at once. Today, I'm doing my first simultaneous stream across multiple platforms to try and help spread my message further. And I thought I'd do my first one as a Q&A for everyone rather than separate Q&As across all the platforms. What I'd love to see is whether we've got anyone watching, say hi. I'd love to see what we've got in terms of an audience. And also, I'd love to see what questions you've got to ask me, whether it's about what an emotional worth coach is, what services it is I offer, or whether it's just something simple about my cystic fibrosis or a little bit about me. I'd love to hear some interaction from you. I'd love to see what it is that we've got going. So as I said, my name's Dave. I'm just waiting for everyone to join. I just see Kevin's just joined me over on LinkedIn. Hey, Kevin, nice to see you. Any questions, just feel free to ask away. And while I'm waiting for a few more people to join, I think what I'll do is I will just explain a little bit about what an emotional worth coach is and what it is that I can offer you guys. So an emotional worth coach is someone who helps people discover their self-worth, rediscover their joy of life, or discover it for the first time in some cases. Maybe you're in a situation where your work has unexpectedly changed to be, as a situation that you no longer like. Maybe it's changed in terms of you've decided to change careers, which is something I have recently done. Maybe you're a sports person and a big part of your identity is within sports and you're no longer able to play the sport that you love. Maybe you have just gone through a relationship breakup. Maybe you've had a severe diagnosis with regards to a health problem. Hey, Jessica, happy Friday to you too. Maybe you've gone through a situation where you've gone through a dramatic change in life. Maybe your kids have left home. Maybe your kids have, you've moved in with a partner and suddenly got kids around the house. Something that might sap you of your joy of life and the ability to be able to live exactly as you want, how you want. Maybe you've never even discovered that yet. Maybe you've got a terminal health condition like I have, cystic fibrosis, and you're not able to completely and utterly enjoy life the way that you would like to, and you want to discover a little bit about yourself, discover your self-worth. This is where an emotional worth coach comes in. I've got a series of strategies that help develop you in across all areas of your life, whether that's within your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, whatever wording you choose to use there, to develop a mindset that allows you to value yourself first rather than last, which is what so many people do these days, especially people who are caring individuals. Hey, everybody. Hey, Lisa. Nice to see you on Instagram. So, yeah, what I'm doing is I'm taking any questions that anybody's got about what an emotional worth coach is, which I've just been going through, or what services it is I can offer for you, or anything in general. Maybe you'd like to learn a little bit more about me or my cystic fibrosis or my experience that's got me to where I am today. Love to see some comments and some interactions. Obviously, this is just the first time I'm doing this, so I'm not expecting many people to see this live. But, if you do see it at a later date, stick a replay in the comments. I'd love to see some interaction, and any questions that you ask in the comments that I don't catch live, I'll try to answer next time I do a live, which will probably be next Friday around 12 o'clock UK time. While we're waiting for some more questions to come through, I'll also tell you a little bit about my story and how I got to where I am today. I was born with cystic fibrosis. It's a genetic health condition. So when I was born in 1983, life expectancy was around 2. I turned 40 next month, so obviously I've smashed that one. But as I grew up, we ended up in a position where we got lots and lots of health improvements upon lots and lots of health improvements. I seen the creation of creon, which is the main digestive enzyme that people with cystic fibrosis have. That allowed us to digest our food better so we could thrive. I've seen the discovery of the CF gene. I've seen all sorts of developments up to and including the current medical miracles that are the modulators that help correct the problem that caused cystic fibrosis. And throughout all of that, I've done what the doctors asked, no questions asked. I've done what other people asked, no questions asked. And I kind of lost myself because of it. I didn't necessarily know who I was. And back in 2016, when I was told that I would be at risk of going on the transplant list soon if things didn't start improving, and that I had got the access to what was then technically still a trial drug called Orkambi, I decided that actually I needed to start to learn to live. I started to improve my mental health. I started to improve my physical health. I was in a position where I was lucky enough to be able to start going down the gym, and I got a CF specialist personal trainer who specialized in remotely helping people with cystic fibrosis. And he was very good at this because he also has cystic fibrosis. So shout out to Ben. Don't know if you'll see this. And he helped sort of get me into gym, get me into lifting. And I was able to really and utterly improve my physical body, my physical strength. And that taught me the benefits as well of better nutrition, better mindset, better hydration, better sleep. And as my mindset started to improve, so did my attitude towards an awful lot of things. And basically, I started to rebuild my mindset. Fast forward a little bit to sort of 2020, and September of that year, I was back in hospital. We believe I'd had COVID. And I was told that because my lung function was now around 20%, that, things weren't looking good. And if Kaftrio, which had just been licensed on the NHS, hadn't worked, I'd be on the transplant list very, very quickly. Luckily, it did work. But I realized at that point that there's going to be so many people with things like cystic fibrosis and other illnesses coming forward that don't know what it is to try and have to learn to be a person, to do their work. Their existence was their illness. To an extent, it still is for a lot of people with my condition. And so I decided to change from developing websites to developing people. I went away and invested a large sum of money on learning how to do emotional change therapy, which is an updated version of NLP, taking into account some of the heart stuff that just wasn't known about back in the 1970s. I've learned public speaking. I've learned intuitional thinking. I've learned a bit about property. So I can help people with, life decisions in and around businesses as well, because I've got my own business experience and done business training. So I can help you decide if you want to go towards a proper life in property, if you're in a position to be able to work. I can help you decide to take a life into running your own business, if that's what you'd like to do. I'm able to help you decide a life path. I'm able to help you develop an experience in life, learn to do things that you never thought were possible. And this is my calling. This is what I want to do. I want to help people who have health related emotional trauma, whether that's a loss of a job and therefore a loss of identity, impacting your mental health, children leaving home, children coming into the home for the first time. I've done plenty of examples of what it is that I can help people with when it comes to their emotional worth, their emotional health. And I can help you discover or rediscover yourself, give you a new purpose in life. So these are the kinds of the services that I can offer. I see that we're not really getting many comments in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this live. I hope you've learned something a little bit about me. I will be back next Friday around 12 o'clock UK time. That's 7 a.m. East Coast. That's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or 1300 hours in Europe. And yeah, it's like 11 o'clock at night in New Zealand, depending on where you're watching this. So, I will be around then. I will see you next week. Please have a think about some questions that you'd like to see. Thank you very much indeed, everyone. And I hope you've enjoyed the stream.